Hello, Jimjamatic here. Welcome to a brand new episode of Robot Wars episode reviews. We're on to the last heat of Series 3 before the semi-finals, Heat P. A heat much loathed by a lot of people. A lot of people tend to not like this heat. I'm relatively neutral to it. Relative to Series 3, it's not a good heat, but in the long, grander scheme of things, Series 4 Heat C, there are much worse heats out there to come. So, joining me, fairly reluctantly, is Sam Elliott 64.
I mean, I know I've had a couple of good heats this series. I have had a couple of good heats this series. Obviously, I joined him in Heat J. I got to do Cassius 2 and Z, but why do I get all the bad ones?
You gotta have a balance. Balance. Yin, yang.
Yeah, no, I mean, this heat's not really anything special, let's face it, is it? I mean, it's...
No, I mean...
When the robot that wins in the heat is Trident,
yeah.
that's when you know things are bad.
It's been a good series for you and a bad series because I mean you got to join in on Simon Harrison Fun, but then
yes, I did under Hit the Disc as well.
Yeah, but then you get Heat C and Heat L, possibly the other two weakest episodes of this heat of this series besides Heat P. But I mean, apart from that, I can't think of any other heats I don't really like. They're just the three that stick out to me. But this one is the lowest of the three to me. I mean, no, I said before, I generally don't. I always forget this episode as opposed to me going, apart from Heat C, like where I remember everything going, oh, that was terrible. Razor was shit, Binky was shit, Agrabot was shit. I was like, well, in this one I'm like,
Victor 2.
I think the battles are so boring in this particular heat. Like, there's no standout battle at all. Even the pinball run.
The one
boring.
that sticks out, sticks out to me probably the most is I think it was Psycho Killer and Dreadnought, because that was kind of
really that's the most boring battles of this heat for me. I mean, there's nothing.
It kind of rams Dreadnought kind of rams into the wall a little bit, but that's about it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that. That and more exciting anecdotes we'll hear later on in this heat. Yeah, news just in: a robot bumps into wall. So that's the highlight of this heat. So with that, we'll start with the heat winner, and what a heat winner! Whoa, oof, what an overpowered heat winner this was. They could have won the entire series, I think. Trident. Trident, such an amazing robot. Trident's Trident is it's Trident, right?
I mean, this is the longest robot I've ever seen in my life. It's just there's so much of it.
I don't know why it's made this way, because it's made in the most awkward way possible.
Here's the thing. All right, I know back in these days, you had a lot of empty space in robots. Everyone had it. There was a few exceptions. Razor was very compact. Hypnodisc very compact. King B very compact as well. Trident, I imagine there's just so much empty space inside it. Why was it so long?
I don't know. It was. I can say one thing though. It does have a big button. It does not lie. This robot. It is mostly arse. This robot.
Yeah. I mean,
it really is.
in every sense of the word as well. But the thing is, all right, Trident. It has 6 wheels. Why does it have 6 wheels?
I don't know why it's not it's not invertible. So
do they all spin? Do they all work?
They all work. They all spin at the same time.
Why? Why is that necessary?
I don't know. It's not like in the case of Trident, where it doesn't actually run up inverted, because Chaos 2 proved that in the next heat. But in the case of something like Tantrum in the last series, it is actually invertible. So it makes sense to have the wheels sort of like that to a degree, I guess. But here.
Trident confuses me a lot. I mean, I like the axe. I like the style of the axe is in. I think it had a lot of drive power. It was quite nippy.
It just didn't have any weight behind it. That was the problem with the axe. It never really did any.
Yeah,
it did damage to paper mache, and that was it.
And the problem is as well that Trident's all of Trident's weight, the way it moved. All the weight seemed at the back. If it was a bit shorter, I know I say this now. If it was a bit shorter, then it probably would have been fairly competent. Fairly manoeuvrable, and it would have been able to push things a lot better than what it does. As it turns out, it's kind of pointless anyway. But
it's definitely. I think it's definitely the weakest heat winner of the series. I mean, people rag on Blade. But in retrospect, Blade was not as awkward. It actually worked. It had decent pushing power. The weapon only worked once, granted, but it made up for it with its decent pushing power, and it actually was well driven, and it wasn't awkward looking. It actually had a proper shape to it. Trident, it was all over the place, this robot, and it just. And I really wish I got to see what Trident 2 looked like. There's no pictures of Trident 2 at all, unfortunately. So
No, I mean they were due to. I think there was I think the Blade and Trident were going to enter in Series 4. Obviously,
I think they were 15th and 16th, weren't they?
No, no, I think they were 12th and 14th. I've got the magazine somewhere in my room. I don't know where, but I think they were 12th and 14th or something like that.
Consult the wiki. Does it say? Does it actually? It doesn't even say on the wiki. Great.
Well, no, never mind. Basically, the point is,
they would have been definitely in the higher
yeah,
ranked
they
seats,
were going to be seeded, and you know, Trident.
It's just
It would have been interesting to see how they did, you know, after a series experience. You know, they had a decent, you know, machine, and you know, it worked. It didn't break down once.
yeah. It didn't. It's heat final. It broke down. It broke down in the heat file. I rewatched this episode recently.
Oh yeah, it did break down. But yeah, after it already won.
Yeah, that's right. That thankfully. I mean, this is a kind of robot I can imagine like having like a front spinner on the front, like a kind of
Spinner.
Yeah, spinner. Oh god, I hate that voice. But yes, yeah, it could actually work in a way if they made the body shorter, kind of made it like a kind of almost making it like Blade in a way.
Yeah.
They could have fit like not just taking a lawnmower blade and sticking it in like a proper custom built blade, but yeah. It could have been something. But again, just like Blade's bigger brother, we never actually saw what it looked like or if it even got properly built to begin with. So we don't really, unfortunately, we never saw these guys again because they never actually entered again. And I mean, glad to see them come back. I mean, obviously there are robots that were shit in Series 3. And then they ended up brilliant, like Bulldog Breed. Like Series 4, they weren't as great either, but maybe around Series 5 above, they actually started.
I mean, Series 4 was perfectly fine.
It was just a bit too slow, and the flipper doesn't really lift as high as it could have. But it was still okay. It was definitely better than the first one. But there are robots that have come back and improved, like Sting 2 as well, coming S3 in Series 5, and then
Stinger and things like that. You know, Trident was a pretty. You know, it's a pretty average robot. I mean, it would its heat, but any other heat, it probably would have been out in round 1. But
yes.
You know, you can only beat the opposition that's in front of you. You know, and I think Heat P, you know, while it was a bit of a mishmash of just a load of trash in comparison to some other teams, you look at the Heat and you think, well, it's good that you got a Heat like this because it means there's going to be someone that's going to be. You know, that you wouldn't normally expect to be in the semi-finals. I mean, say if they put a heat of Hypnodisc, Chaos 2, Razor, Firestorm, Panic Attack, all in the same heat, right? The semi is just going to be useless.
In the semi-finals, it'll be full of it'll be basically Pan's suicidal tendencies.
Yeah, so do you know what I mean? So you need this balance.
Yes, you do. And in fairness, you can't really blame the teams for being in this heat because they didn't decide to be in the shit heat. They just got given a shit heat, and in fairness, and of course, Razor were given a shit heat, and they didn't manage to take advantage of it. So
it is what it is. I think I mean, I like the fact that it's shiny.
It's up there with Cerberus as shiniest robot of the series, but it's not as elegant as Cerberus in many obviously, but yeah. Also, it's from the north, so that might explain something. I don't know, from Leeds.
Possibly.
Okay, I don't know if it makes a difference or not. I mean, I don't hate Leeds, just. There, but yeah, and Trident is also just there, so it kind of fits. It fits, but and also in fairness, it did have a very, 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 very tough opponent in its heat final, Dreadnought.
I like Dreadnought.
I don't. I've never liked Dreadnought.
Okay, no. Okay, I like the way it looks. The way I mean, I know it's all fiberglass, and fiberglass is very good at molding and stuff like that. I really like the way Dreadnought looks in this series in particular with the green.
I don't like the Series 4 XP1 crap that came like what was the point of just adding some extra letters and numbers onto the back end of it just to make
Why not?
It didn't improve anything, did it really? It did absolutely nothing. And also it looks identical to the third one except it's just here's the thing, I think the reason why I don't like Dreadnought is that it was one of those robots that could have improved over time. A bit like how Chaos did from Robot the Bruce or even Panic Attack or Behemoth, those kind of robots who might not change too much, but over time get better. And it never did. It never
Well, I still like it the way that I just like Dreadnought. You know, it's
fair enough.
It's great. But... It was a nice, and as well as that, Dreadnought is now owned by the Chompalot team.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yep. So two really nice. I mean, the Dreadnought team, they come across very well on TV. They were a lovely bunch of people. So,
they're a good team, yeah.
I think it's only right that they end up with another wonderful team, which is Team Cookie Monsters and Chompalot. It's great.
I always found it kind of actually quite nice in a way that the main two guys on the Dreadnought team were like brothers-in-law.
They were brothers-in-law, yeah.
And it's not often you see like kind of that kind of like dynamic in a team. Normally it's like maybe husband and wife or father and son or something. But it was like two people are even like they're sort of only
they're obviously good friends as well. But
yeah.
I mean,
it's nice considering the fact obviously there's a lot of jokes about like mothers-in-law and fathers-in-law and that kind of like might not get along with them, but it's always nice. It's not a dynamic you see very often in Robot Wars, which is quite nice. But obviously there's also husband and wives in the Razor and yeah, Widow's Revenge. That was such a husband and wife team, yeah. We'll get to that one, but.
I think that was good TV, but we'll get to that eventually.
But the thing about Dreadnought though, in Series 4, it looks identical. They just call it XP1. It gets a seed because they've earned it by now, apparently. And
I like Dreadnought.
And after all that, they were still the only team like using a wooden base plate at this point, and it's like.
What's wrong with that? Overdozer.
Okay, in fairness though, it was the only time Matilda did any damage in Series 4, so I'll give them credit there. But
yeah,
but it's okay. It just never really it could have looked. Its forks never actually moved in battle. Apart from I think the only time it ever moved is in Series 1 where they demonstrated them.
I think they did move in battle. You just didn't really see it because they weren't strong enough to lift something. I don't think, at least. I mean, there were. At the end of the day, it's a good machine. Like it's an early Robot Wars machine, and you can see that. But at the end of the day, they stuck at it, and they did keep improving it. I mean, from series to series, there was some evolution. Obviously, series 1 to 2, it was reliable for a start.
Yeah.
And series 3 to 4, obviously, 2 to 3, obviously they changed the chassis and they changed the way it looked. Series 3 to 4, okay, yeah, maybe there wasn't that much underneath. Maybe it was underneath more that they changed things, like internals to make it a little bit quicker or something. But I like Dreadnought. Dreadnought's fine.
It's okay, I guess, but I just don't really care for it. But another robot that is probably the best robot ever invented. I'm just going to say that now. Victor 2 is best sequel ever.
Victor 2 damaged itself.
It is probably the most pointless sequel robot I've ever seen because it looks identical to the original, except it's got a different flail on it and different wheels. Seriously, what is different?
I'm trying to think of it.
I'm looking at a picture on the wiki right now, and honestly, apart from the wheels and the flail, I can't see any difference between the two robots.
What they did, James, was very clever. What they did, they took Victor and they added a number 2 after it.
Oh, I see what they did there. Changed the flail on it as well. So it went from a crappy little flying lawnmower blade to an even crappier flail that just bounced around and took its own armor off. So
yeah,
it's such an awkward design. Because I remember it was Anderson I was with on that heat when we were doing it, and yeah, it's just a weird kind of. Why go for the massive bots? It's almost like Trident, like a massive body.
Yeah, they are very, very similar.
Except the wheels actually make a little bit more sense, oddly enough, and they're slanted somehow. I don't really know why they chose the slanted designs. It doesn't really help the robot. I mean, it gives it a bit more lower center of gravity, I guess, but that's it. It didn't stop it from going in the pit. No,
it did not.
It also didn't make it. It didn't stop it from taking its own armor off. So, which is quite a design flaw.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, this robot offends me more than Dreadnought does. A lot more than Dreadnought does.
Well, Dreadnought doesn't offend me, but it's just weird. Thank goodness they came with the Kraken in Series 6, because otherwise, this would have been such a bad duo of robots to have your entire legacy on.
But again, this is what you get with early Robot Wars. Early Robot Wars is very the way that early Robot Wars was like it was all learning. Nowadays, you go to your spinners, your flippers, your axes, or whatever else. In these days, there was no set formula for victory. I mean, obviously, wedges were kind of popular, but That's because Roadblock won, and then Chaos 2 won, so Flippers became popular, and so on and so forth. The thing was, in these series, it was still all a learning process. And you look at, something like Victor, and you can see sort of what they were going for, try and get a big spinner on the front, but it didn't quite go to plan.
I don't really understand the spinner in Series 3, though, because it literally is just a wire with, like, 2 little bits on it. There's no, like, force behind it. Like, the lawnmower blade was better, because it was solid. Like, this thing's just kind of flops about and doesn't really have any shape to it, and I don't know. It's just a weird robot, Victor and Victor 2. Honestly, both of them are just weird.
I mean, they do look very similar. I do see what you mean.
Yeah, they haven't changed it much at all, but yeah, it's just Victor 2. I mean, at least they have the Kraken in Series 6, and they actually lose to someone like Thermidor 2. That's respectable, at least. Losing to Trident, no, that's not. that's not much of a loss.
No, this is true.
And then the final robot that managed to make it into the second round was Rattus, straight from the bubonic plague.
Oh my god!
Do you know what? I actually kind of like Rattus.
Well, it's this heat's barnyard animal.
Yes, it is. It is the barnyard animal for the heat, and also I like it mainly because
it's quick.
It's surprisingly quick. Like, considering that Robot was particularly around Series 3 to 4, it started getting less and less really slow robots. I mean, you got the exceptions, but
yeah,
thankfully the speedier robots were starting to prevail. And this is actually quite a robot you wouldn't think would be very fast, but it really, like, it does like some parkour over Smidsy. It even, actually, its own speed caused it to slam its entire shell off, so that is something. But I mean, this robot just started falling apart by the time at the end of its first battle. No wonder it didn't work against Dreadnought in the second battle. I mean, I'm surprised they managed to even get that thing to look decent again, because its entire internals were setting on fire by the end of it. But I mean, this robot didn't manage to. It's another sort of like a Series 3 syndrome. Another robot like Terrapin that only appeared in Series 3 and never managed to appear again, despite qualifying at least one at a time.
I mean, Rattus, it's a giant rat, really. There's nothing much more to it. I mean,
no. Although I mentioned this last time though, that they did actually defeat Dominator 2 in their qualifier for Series 4.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What as Rattus?
Yeah, because they tried to qualify for Series 4 and 5. There's no details on Series 5's one, but for Series 4 they actually beat Dominator and won the qualifying battles, but the audience didn't vote them in. Apparently it was because it was just a removable link. It wasn't that they really defeated them, right? It was just a removable link failure. But I don't know why they didn't let him in, but I would like to see the rat come back. I don't know, especially against Hypnodisc. That would have been kind of funny.
Possibly. We'll see.
Also, the one design flaw, I think Anderson pointed out in the last one as well, which I don't really understand, is that they have spikes, but the nose is longer than the spikes, so you can't actually get the spikes into play.
Reasons.
Reasons, yes. I mean, this robot would have been one of the longest robots in the series if it hadn't been cut in half. Cause it would have been the second longest robot in the series, I believe, after... What was the longest robot? I think it was 11 is the longest robot ever entered into the series. But I think it is 11.
It's a shame Jellyfish and Ice Cream didn't qualify, otherwise it would have been that.
Oh yeah, because that was going to be the sequel to Jellyfish, unfortunately. But
yeah, we I think when it was fully extended, it was pretty long. I think it was well over 2 meters long.
I have to give Dave Laurie credit for the name Jellyfish and Ice Cream. It's
just, everything's better with ice cream.
Everything is better with ice cream, yes. But Rattus is not good with ice cream, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a soft spot for it, even though it's just useless. Also, they did that Series 1 thing where they just stuck a flail on the back of it, and that's our secondary weapon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mace did it. Perfectly fine.
Yeah. It sort of reminds me of Talk of the Devil in some ways. That's kind of like
sort of
in a little way, like the little flail on the back of it, and just the little useless front weapons and stuff. But yeah, never saw these guys again, unfortunately. But that's how qualifying goes.
It is what it is.
Should we just get the best robot of the heat out of the way now? Because the last 8, after all those robots, we get Smidsy.
Smidsy blew up.
The only robot to actually do anything past this series, really, because I mean, this is the biggest problem with like interference and things that can go wrong on the day and stuff. Like, probably the most unlucky robot of the entire series, right here.
I think of Robot Wars in general. Smitsy's fairly unlucky.
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously they lose in round one here. Okay, you know what? Fair enough. Series 4, they come back. They get drew with Panic Attack, which is not really an easy draw. Series 5, they come back and get drew against Chaos 2.
Hmm.
And Series 6, they broke down when they were dominating against Dominator 2.
And then they lost to Atomic, wasn't it? I think.
And there's no shame there.
No, they were good flipper by then, but it just
So,
never catch a break, can it?
Smidsy, and then obviously in Series 9, I know it's not Smidsy, but High Five is kind of like a relative of Smidsy's, and it's basically it's essentially a similar design. It's the same concept.
Actually, Polworthy
and it gets blown up by Supernova in like 3 seconds.
Well, actually, no. It wasn't Supernova that killed High Five. It was Worm.
No, it was Worm. It was Worm. Sorry,
They bumped into Worm. I mean, that's unfortunate.
Worm's the best robot in the whole series. So,
Worm is. I mean, they are overpowered. Worm. They shouldn't even be allowed into a series.
Yeah,
9, but
disgustingly powerful that robot is.
It's like Smidsy is like. It's personally. I mean, it's not a hard contest really, but I think it is personally the best robot to never win a heat is Smidsy, hands down. Because
I'm trying to think. Okay, so in multiple series.
Of course, yeah. Sorry,
I'd say Supernova's up there as well, actually.
I mean, their best chance was definitely Series 9 and Series 6 were their best runs.
Yeah. But I think that's about right.
Yeah, but Smitty, I love the idea of the clamping jaws and a lifter at the same time. It's such a great idea. I think no other I think has any other robot actually used it apart from obviously High Five. I mean, everyone started copying Razor as soon as Razor started getting good. Wobot was more of like a claw on an arm, though, wasn't it?
It could still lift, and it could still lift, though, couldn't it? Clamp and lift.
I'm just talking about. I mean, more something like Smids, where it's just like a fixed jaw, because obviously, technically, General Carnage is the same thing as well. With
yeah, true.
I mean, Smids is such a unique robot, and it could never catch a break. Smids, it really couldn't. It really couldn't, and it's just. It's one of the biggest unfortunate. Again, I was kind of very, very disappointed that High Five was. I mean, it was against a massive spinner like Supernova, and even if it survived the first round, Ironside 3 and Pulsar would have really ruined them as well. So it was not a good heat for them to be in. And also Apex, if they somehow got past the first round, that would have been torture. So
true, but no, I mean, Smitty at this point in time, I mean, it had the potential to do quite well, and I think it probably, all things being equal, would have won this heat.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you can't, if you get interference, then that's what happens, isn't it? It's just how it is.
Hands down, the robot that got screwed over by interference the most in this series.
Yeah.
But thankfully, at least they do actually pull up a lot more fights in the later series. This is their worst showing.
Yeah.
So
it's all uphill from here.
Yeah, well, yeah, it pretty much is. But poor Smidsy. I love Smidsy, but oh yeah, sorry, it's all stand for sorry mate, I didn't see you. I don't know why. In case people didn't know that. For some reason.
Which is a common biker phrase, because that's what bikers say when they get hit by a car.
Yeah, because apparently people can't see motorbikes for some reason. So, but
look both ways if you're driving, kids. There you go.
Oh, so that's your tip for the day.
That's your PSA. Always check for bikers.
Yes. It also depends if you're in a different country, because obviously here we have to look, different way, different sides of the road to you. So, top tip. Yep. There you go. Remember which country you're in. That's the tip. And then another robot I think was also relatively unlucky as well was Scarab, the first horizontal crusher of the series, and
yes,
it lasted to about 10 seconds. This entire robot, and they don't even know what killed it. It just sort of went on the spikes, and then something happened.
It died.
Yeah, it's like it didn't even get hit properly either. It just sort of died. And it was also, I forgive it if it was like the big spike that took out half the robots in the series, but this one's just the tiny spikes. I don't know.
Yeah, Scarab had its issues, didn't it? But it was quite a cool little robot. But yeah,
I mean, I like it's sort of like a preemptive version of Can Opener.
Yes,
it really is. I mean, not the Series 5 Can Opener, which is pretty appalling. The Series 6 above Can Opener, the unlucky Can Opener, but it looks really cool, like the massive pincers on it, and it was unfortunate it was against a robot like Victor 2 that was like one of the hardest robots to grab a hold of because it's got like so much free space on it.
Yeah, there's so much underneath where you can actually just miss.
It's 90% wheel. So it's really hard to grab anything on Victor. But Scarab itself, it was just again just one of those robots that had a missed potential, like Smidsy in a way. But unlike Smidsy, they never actually appeared again.
Yeah.
Not because they didn't enter, not because they didn't get in again. They just didn't enter at all. Which I don't know. It's you know, there's a lot of teams like that too. You could have done well next series and they just don't appear again. But this is one of those robots I really wish had entered again. Because I mean, especially with the improvement of technology. Because this robot only had 2 tons of crushing power.
Which at the time would have just cut through most things like paper.
It would, yeah. I mean, obviously, something like in comparison, like because the standard of crushing is Razor with 9 tons. Really, that's the kind of standard crushing power you want.
Yeah.
But 2 tons at the time.
Back in the day, you only had three tons of pressure in the on the RAM, I believe, or I believe it. You know, the limitation was 3,000 psi for hydraulics, so Razor only had 3 tons.
Yeah, I'm talking about modern Razor. I mean, like that's the kind of standard, like.
Yeah, no, that was you know today. You know, today the rules are 10,000 psi, but back then it was only 3,000. So I don't know. I believe it was only 3,000 anyway. So it was only 3 tons. Razor kind of fudged a little bit, but
yeah, Scarab just another missed opportunity, unfortunately.
Yep.
But at least we have Can Opener.
Yep.
Because Can Opener is the best robot ever made.
Oh, clearly, it wouldn't turn on it.
Hello, yeah. You can't say no to that. And
of course, you know, the Series 8 version wasn't actually built by the Can Opener team. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. Who built it?
I don't remember though. I just know it wasn't.
No, so the new Can Opener, well, the one that was on Series 8 of Robot Wars was built by Mr. Jason Marston of Thor.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's his robot.
I did not know that. All right. The more you know. The more you know. Now, possibly, I'm going to describe probably the most boring robot of this heat, Psycho Killer. It's just a wedge axebot.
Psycho Killer has a cool design on it.
It's got I like the Picasso idea they went for, but I don't know why. This is probably one of the most forgettable robots of Series 3 for me. I think because I remember when Series 3 got uploaded onto YouTube for the first time, I was watching through it. I generally forgot Psycho Killer was a robot. I didn't even remember it. I was like, what the hell is this robot? And I knew he didn't do very well because he didn't get us the first round. But I was like, whoa, okay. And it didn't really. it didn't do anything.
It got bumped into the wall.
Did its axe fire once?
I don't know.
I don't remember it. I don't remember from when I was flicking through it before. I don't remember ever seeing its axe work. I mean, it got chopped off very cruelly by Sir K.
Yes, well, he would do, wouldn't it? You know.
I know, but it was like
he does that.
I know it was such a kind of it's not like Bumblebot where it deserves to be chopped off. Here it was just. It's just like his tiny axe was going to do anything. I like the axe design though. The fact it's got a little kind of claw on it. It's no Kilohertz beautiful, woodpecker axe.
Yeah.
Or Excalibur's. Excalibur's the best axe in the whole series, but
it is that axe was a work of art.
It was a work of art.
But Psycho Killer, I mean, it's got a nice colourful design. It's yellow and red. It stands out quite clearly. But I mean, yeah.
Also, when obviously you know what robot's coming up next, but before
this is my robot coming up. A lot of people will give a lot of shit for it being terrible. Yeah, it is, but it looks fabulous.
Yeah. I was going to say also before I say what its name was, Psycho Killer is the same weight as it.
I know. Somehow. It's a lot smaller.
Somehow, of course, who else we're talking about? It's Tun Turun or whatever the hell you pronounce this.
Twin Trun. I believe it. Twin Trun.
I don't know.
Twin Trun.
Apparently it means broken ring in Welsh. I can't confirm that.
It's a Welsh thing, I believe, because they're from Wales. I think they're from Wrexham, something like that.
They're from North Wales. It just says North Wales, but I knew it was Welsh, but I can't confirm or deny whether it actually is broken ring. It could be gibberish. I don't know. Welsh is weird.
It could be. Fuck you. It could be that. No one knows.
I mean, Welsh is a weird language. I'm not gonna lie, but
it is.
I mean, obviously, you have great robots coming from Wales, such as
Apollo,
a Panic Attack, and then of course, Ton to Run is the best robot ever to come out of Wales. I mean, Apollo and Panic Attack, they might have won series, but who cares about them, right? It's Ton to Run.
I adore the way Ton to Run looks. It's got a great the way it's just fantastic. I love it. I love it. It's fantastic.
It's my favorite design robot of this series because it is.
Like, it's got so it's I know, again, it's all fiberglass, just like Dreadnought, and the way that they can, because obviously they're graphic designers, aren't they? The people that did it, or something like that. And the way that they've done it is just really, really clever. And it looks terrifying and hideous, but it's great. And, the creature, the same thing with the creature as well. Both of those machines, while obviously horrifically ineffective in battle, they have, it's great.
I like Ton to Run slightly more than the creature, mainly because it's even more useless but more arty. Like
the creature made round 2. It was amazing.
Yeah, it made round 2 because Invertebrate pinned itself to the floor, not because it was a good robot. But
that's irrelevant, mate. It made round 2.
Yeah, I guess so. But Ton to Run, it is literally like they took an art project and put it on wheels and gave it life for about.
So they should.
They really did, and it's such a great robot. I mean, it's completely pointless, but it is beautiful pointless in the best way. Sort of like Death Warmed Up for me as well. So useless, but so amazing to look at. You don't really care how bad it is. I mean, those two tie for my favorite designs of this series. I mean, I flick back and forth. I know more effort went into something like Ton to Run, but Death Warmed Up has its own weird kind of unique, weird, crazy style to it. So I appreciate both, but
yeah, exactly.
I like the creature slightly less, again, mainly because it actually looks more like a robot. I don't know, that might be a weird criticism about a robot. It looks too fighting fit to be weird.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, though, these two machines, that team did something incredibly unique.
And also, a fun fact, they did have a weapon on this robot originally. It was a snowplow, but they had to get rid of it because of weight restrictions.
Yeah, it was too big.
And Ton to Run was actually still overweight slightly, but they left it in mainly because its aesthetics gave it no advantage in battle, and it was true.
Yeah, it's true, but I mean, I love the way that.
If there was a robot that I would have declared house robots can't attack it clause, this would be one of them.
Where do they go? What do they do?
Oh, they go and attack it and burn it and all that kind of good stuff.
But... Yeah, but what do they do to it? It's so big. Where do they start?
I don't know. They just start like hacking different bits off it and trying to burn it and see what happens. And it lasted a good total about 5 seconds. So there is that.
I like Ton to Run. It's great.
I do. Yeah, I do. I love Ton to Run. But now the battles, as I said before, are not very good.
In fairness, for the most part, I think we should probably just skip the battles because there's nothing really exciting in them at all.
No,
we'll say the results and whatever else, but I don't think there's literally nothing to say because there's what do you say about them? I mean,
I don't know. Like the first one, Rattus versus Smidsy, is technically one of the better battles. Not saying much, but a few things happen. Like Smidsy fails to work because of stuff. Rattus does actually do some decent pushing, and then Rattus completely destroys itself by running into dead metal. Its whole armor falls off. It sets on fire. It starts smoking. Like, you think if your armor falls off, don't drive onto the pit, the flame pit. And what do? They drive onto the flame pit. They could have salvaged it. All would happen is the shell would have fallen off. And they could have fixed it again easily. No, don't. Just burn it to hell. You've already lost, apparently, and also the funny thing is, as soon as Smitty started properly working, Dead Metal pitted it. That was actually the time Smitty started working, and in fairness, though, they were sort of. I don't say it's controversial because Smitty would not working most of that battle, so I don't really see why they would have got through the first round anyway. But oh well. And then obviously there's Ton to Run versus Trident. This is one of the quickest KOs of the series because Trident just comes in, hits him with the axe, and then.
Ton to Run's just dead. I mean, the problem is, again, with this heat, and as much as the battles aren't very good, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. The fights were, the robots they were all very different, and that's good. But I mean, none of them were really, apart from Smidsy and maybe Trident and maybe Dreadnought, none of them were really fighting robots.
No, I think that's what I saw. My opinion, I've always said my consensus on Heat P as well, is that it's not an amazing heat. I mean, it really is the fights that lets it down for me, as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
But unlike Heat L, where it had a few highlights, this has nothing. I mean, Tuntaron, yeah, just gets hit and then it gets set on fire, and then House Robots attack it, and then I feel sorry for Tuntaron so much because how much time was it taking to make that robot? And it's just
Too long.
Yeah, I think they spent too much effort on it.
Too long for what it was.
Yes, yeah, indeed. The whole 5 seconds it lasted. And then Scarab versus Victor 2. Scarab, they just kind of push around each other for a bit, and then to Victor 2's credit, actually Victor 2 pushes Scarab onto the spikes, which actually immobilizes them. So it actually was Victor 2 that caused the reason. It wasn't Scarab driving onto the spikes, but at the same time, Scarab just gets onto the spikes and then it just dies. Even the team don't know why it died. It just died. I don't know what happened to it, but anyway, that was the whole battle. See, this heat's really exciting, folks.
There's literally nothing to say. There's nothing to say.
Psycho Killer versus Dreadnought was basically two robots bumbling around each other for ages. A few hits. Psycho Killer runs into a wall a few times. Dreadnought spins around, does stuff. So Killlock cuts the axe off, and then it dies.
Yep.
So yeah, that was the whole battle. Oh, I love this heat so much. And even the side event is a bit rubbish because Mortis barely does anything in the pinball.
Mortis could have won the pinball in realism, but they bottled it.
Yeah, I mean they hit. I think all they hit was the barrels and the multi-ball, and that was it. Again, a good grand total of 60 points. That's nearly almost at the low. If it wasn't for Rocks 2, they'd be right at the bottom right now. And actually, the funny thing is that Mortis, for some reason, when they hit the multi-ball release, decided to attack it with their axe. I don't know why that.
Why not? Why not?
It's all that Mortis does. It's all that Mortis has. So.
Mortis does what Mortis wants.
He got stuck on the pit because fair enough. I can understand they might be having like Series 2 flashbacks of being in the pinball, but
yeah.
Maybe that's why they lost their cool. That's why they didn't actually do very well. But oh well, it's only a side event. Who cares? But also that means therefore that Razor
win the pinball.
Yeah,
I mean it was kind of handed to them really, but
yeah, Razor won the pinball and woo. And then we go to the next battle, of course, which is well again. As in the world, Anderson likes to describe, can you call a battle when no one robot doesn't move? Dreadnought versus Rattus.
I think it's called bullying.
It wasn't really bullying. It was just, I mean, actually, Rattus did move like a centimeter, and it just broke.
Maybe like, I know they didn't have removable links with them, but maybe whatever they were using to control the machine just fell out or something. I don't know. Or it just
I don't know. Or maybe it's just the electronics were too damaged, or maybe they just debodged something up when they were fixing it. I don't know, but it didn't move. And honestly, I actually think Rattus would have beaten Dreadnought, in all honesty, because they were faster. If he controlled it better, they could have got a good hit on it.
I mean, Dreadnought. I mean, I know it did in the Heat farm, but Dreadnought very rarely died.
Yeah.
It had a lot of staying power. I mean, I know it did in Series 1 as well. It had a lot of staying power in Dreadnought, so I imagine it probably would have been okay.
But it wasn't really a fight, was it?
No.
No,
it was not.
Trident versus Victor 2 was, again, a lot of kind of bit of pushing. Trident using its action effectively, Victor using its weapon.
2 just kind of went, bleh.
Actually, the funny thing is, Trident, to its credit, was slowly directing Victor towards the pit all the time. Like it was slowly.
Yeah, they were nudging them in that direction.
But eventually, Victor 2 was the ones who caused their own problems. They just kept spinning around, and then got one of the wheels stuck over the pit, and then Trident just did the easy task of pushing them into the pit fully.
Yeah.
It wasn't really, again, much of a fight, to be honest with you. And also, Victor, because Victor 2 sucks, like the original Victor. So,
of course.
Again, Trident didn't really have much of a competition in this fight either. It had a robot that took itself out, so yay. Although to the credit, they did a lot more. They had to do more than against Tuntaron, which isn't, again, not saying much. And then, finally, hands down, probably along with Blades Heat Final, one of the worst Heat Finals of all time. This is
both died. They both died.
That's the only Heat Final I can ever think of where both robots died.
Here's the thing, though, right? Okay, so you know how obviously both robots died. The House robots went for went for Trident. Do you reckon they were told to go for Trident because they thought that it died first?
I think they might have thought it died first.
Maybe that's what. I genuinely think that's what it was, because Dreadnought was kind of left alone, wasn't it? I think, you know.
Yeah, maybe there's some miscommunication between the drivers and who said the judges and all that. Obviously, because they must have thought Trident was out first, even though it was actually Dreadnought.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they went for Trident. Trident was allowed. I mean, obviously allowed through, and maybe originally the thought was that Dreadnought had won. Maybe they had to do a whole new thing. I don't know, but I thought that was kind of naughty, considering they knew that. Well, considering Trident had to fight again, even at that point, honestly, I'd have said to them, "Oh well, you know what? We might as well let Dreadnought carry on, because you know, Trident's been battered so much, then maybe we should just let Dreadnought carry on." But
Trident didn't really get like completely destroyed. It was mostly dents and a few saw cuts. Really, it wasn't really too destroyed, but
it was bashed.
Yeah, bashed a bit. It was still dented in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
From its speed. But here's the thing, though. This is the only heat final where both robots broke down. Because technically, you could argue Smidsy and Cars too, but they weren't broken down. They were just immobilized by.
Immobile.
Well, one was stuck in the wall and one was upside down because they couldn't self-right properly. So technically, they weren't immobilized. But here, I think it's the only instance. There's no other heat final.
There's another heat fight. I mean, there's a few battles. I mean, I know Cedric Slammer and Mute kind of died at the same time, didn't they?
There's also things like PP3D and Eruption PP3D and Cherub. Both.
Yeah.
Both PP3. A lot of PP3D fights ended that way, but in this case, it was just a lot of bumping around. I mean, Dreadnought lasted about as soon as after the first hit on Dreadnought, they just started going really slow, and then eventually just died. And you could tell the guy was trying to get some kind of life into his robot, but it was not working. And Trident somehow broke down after that. It must be like a removable link thing or something. And then...
Yeah.
Because they weren't really under any pressure, and then somehow the house robots decided to kill them instead. But...
Why not?
Whatever, but... Yeah, that was Heat P. I feel really depressed after this heat. Somehow.
It's actually physically drained me.
Yeah, I don't know how. Like, this is just a terrible... It's just terrible. I think it's probably definitely not as bad as Heat C, because it leaves a lot of stuff to rant about in that. But it's not as bad as Heat. But it's not as good as Heat L, where there were some memorable battles and some decent robots in it. But it just feels like a drain, because there's nothing to talk about.
The Heat's long. It's okay. The thing is, the Heat's not even so bad that it's like it's not like some Heats are bad, but they've got some interesting stuff in it.
Yeah.
This Heat's just boring.
Yeah,
you know?
it is boring.
This Heat has nothing to it.
At least Heat C, I got to rant about Binky, Razors in there. You know, you got really shitty Walker battle. No, was it a Walker battle? I think. Oh no, it was the middleweight battle, wasn't it? That was kind of dumb. You got to see Tentamushi or something. You got to see something, and then also in Heat L, you have Evil Weevil. You have Panzer's pretty cool. You got Wild Willie fucking up. You got Flipfoot Fight. It's failure. Loads of kind of stuff to talk about, but here just. It's nothing. It is absolutely one of the most biggest definition of nothing. Heat ever.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, probably up there with
Heat P Series 3 will go up there as probably one of the least memorable heats ever.
To me, it's up there with like Heat L of Series 2. It's just nothing. Even like the only good robot is Hardrock, and even then, well, it's better than Trident, but still, it's Unfortunately, you're not. This is your last appearance in this series, Sam, which is a bit of a fortune, really, because.
I know. I mean,
I feel kind of bad in a way now.
No. I mean, you know, it is what it is, and I'm looking forward to doing some of that. Series 4 won't be for a while, will it? You know, you've got your own personal things going on.
Yeah, I was gonna do an announcement at some point. Well, I'll probably just do it now. Here is that I've got exams starting a week Tuesday from this thing, so I won't be finished until the 14th of June. It's not constant exams, but that's basically the last exam I have. So
yeah, and you know, I will be back for Series 4. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to getting into Series 4. I got a few. You
got some decent ones.
Series 4 is a series that I probably know very well, because it was the first series I watched the whole way through. So
well, it's definitely unfortunately for me that's Series 2. So there you go. But,
yeah, you know, I'm excited to get into Series 4. You know, I think I've got a few interesting heats that I'm in as well, and I know I've got a couple. But you know, thank you for having me for the Series 3 as well. You know, this has been a really fun trip down memory lane. You know, obviously it was my first series. This was it was the first series that I've ever started watching, and thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. I mean, it was I always like having the guests on. You, Anson, and Alex have all been great, obviously, and obviously I can't. Obviously, I still have Sam and Alex and Anson for the next 4 episodes, but yeah, it's been great having you on, and I can't wait for Series 4 because Series 4 is it's where the series starts getting advanced
really good.
even more.
The thing is, what I find amazing in Series 4 is like, there's obviously been a massive leap in technology from Series 8 to 9, but like, sorry, from like 4 to 5, that's probably the biggest jump forward.
Definitely.
But the thing is with Series, that's because of a weight increase. There was no weight increase between Series 3 and 4. The standard of machines went up dramatically between 3 and 4. It was incredible. You look at, 4 to 5. Again, they were all a lot better than what they were. That's because they had another 20 kilos to play with. Here, they moved forward so quickly, and Series 4 was a really interesting series purely because of the fact that they had, quite a different approach. It was really good.
Also, the thing about Series 4 is that it's sort of a way like with some robots in Series 3. Series 4, a lot of robots started getting their definitive look. Like Chaos 2 didn't, but Hypnodisc with its self-writer. Wheelie Big Cheese with a massive flipper. Razor just kind of looked basically as it was pretty much from Series 4 onwards. You got Thermidor 2. Exterminator, sort of boxy, silver, grey silver look to it, minus the crappy axe. Stinger's bludgeoning weapon. There's lots of robots that managed to sort of get their look over time. And also Panic Attack with its more improved driving with the gyro stabilizer as well. And it's just amazing. It's a good series. I don't love it. I think I like Series 3 slightly more, I'll be honest with you, but that's purely because of nostalgia. I think Series 4 was the last series I watched before I kind of gave up and went back to... I missed Series 5 and went to Series 6 somehow. But I don't know why. I just forgot that Series 5 was on. And so I went, oh, Series 6 is on. Oh, I missed Series. Oh, well. So when they started saying, like, S3 is this awesome robot, like, who the hell's S3? So I didn't know what S3 was, or, like, or Spawn again. I was like, what the fuck? Where's Spawn Scutter at? So, there's that. But
yes, Series 3 was it was enjoyable. It was something I look back and I think there's a few really cool battles in there. Obviously Hypnodisc being born.
I think
that was obviously really cool. Chaos 2 itself being getting its opportunity. It's a series I enjoy.
I think just Series 4, my only problem with Series 4 is that I think that considering how good the series is, it's still a good series. I love it, but it doesn't have as many memorable moments for me compared to Series 3. Like a lot of the heats blur into like one. I can't remember the heats individually, like in order. I just can't remember moments from heats, but not full. Like the only exception being is Exterminator's heat, where I remember pretty much all of that, and also Pussycat's heat. I remember those heats really well because they're all quite memorable. But everything else, I don't know. There's always something in every heat that sort of annoys me slightly. I don't know why, but I still like it though. But anyway, obviously we'll do a very very quick preview of the semi-final 1. Because because we've gone over these robots before, but obviously I haven't gone through all of them with you, Sam. But I'll
who was first? It was Firestorm and Pitbull, wasn't it?
Actually, I'm just going in the order. I'm just going in the order of the wiki, just randomly. It doesn't make a difference what order we go in, really. But
okay.
Big Brother, who won a Heat D.
It's a big triangular wedge, but it looks cool though.
It's got the little floppy, scorpion arm thing that didn't do anything, but it was there for looks. God damn it. Pitbull, the people say it didn't deserve the win. I think it did. It was perfectly fine. It was dominating Behemoth. It looks really cool, and unfortunately they decided never to appear again. But I like it. It looks more like a Dalmatian.
And of course, at this point, of course, Pitbull joined by Charlie Bins of Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, because he thought I'll try. The
other dude. Yeah, the other dude has to go home.
Yeah, I'm going to try and join a winning team here. Oh wait. The previously mentioned Trident. They didn't last very long.
Nope.
The reason why they didn't last very long because of Chaos 2. The spoilers, future champion. Not a big surprise here. I mean, come on, if you don't know that Chaos 2 is a champion, then really,
why are you doing this to this podcast?
Yeah, exactly. Really, I mean, this is all for nostalgia's sake, for a degree. So, Chaos 2 is just awesome. Pretty much unbeatable in the series, but like Carbide was in Series 9. Just didn't really have a really bad moment at any point. I mean, the closest it got was the big cheese flipping over once. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
That was a big one.
Chaos 2 dominated this. It was so far ahead of everyone else in the series that it deserved everything it got.
Even in Series 4, it was pretty still advanced as well.
Yeah.
It took till Series 5 for this robot to start getting outdated, which is quite an achievement for a robot that didn't really change design at all from Series 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Did it actually change at all?
They in Series 5 he added bigger rams and that was about it.
I mean, from Series 3 to 4, though, did they actually change?
Nothing at all.
Apart from his beard to make himself a bit more hip to the young kids or whatever.
Yeah.
Firestorm. I mentioned it last heat, but Firestorm.
Great robot.
Yeah,
great robot.
Definitely the inferior Firestorm by definition, but it's not saying anything about it. It's an eventual third overall in this series. First robots get flipped out of the arena. Granted, that's the grand final, but even then, they also.
I believe it's also the only front hinge flipper to get someone else out of the arena, wasn't it?
It's true. Yeah, I think it was it S3. I think it was. They flipped out the arena.
It's got loads out. It got Reactor out, S3, Ripper, Repteron, Weldor.
A lot of people. Actually, also they started their rivalry with Panic Attack in this series.
Yes, they did. Yes,
and they won that one pretty soundly, I'd say.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say so.
Mace 2, a bigger Mace than the original one.
Yep.
But it's pretty much okay. Obviously,
it's solid.
Yeah, it's solid. It's definitely at least first round winner worthy.
Yep.
Panic Attack, the reigning champions. Not for much longer, but they will be.
Yep.
got very very lucky in retrospect, but at the same time.
Yeah, but again, at the same time, you make your own luck, and I think they deserve to be Exterminator in the end. I think it was close, but
I was talking about in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
Oh no, they weren't earning their place up until that point, so that was.
I still think they would have beaten Thing 2. I have no doubt about that. They would have beaten them over eventually.
I have no doubt that Thing 2 would have beaten them, but.
Really?
Yep. No doubt about that one, but they would.
No, I think Thing 2 would have been flipped over eventually.
Eventually, but they weren't doing much flipping until then.
They didn't really get a chance. Thing 2 were dominating, but I think it would have been close.
And obviously you mentioned them Thing 2 as well. The Predator System Wild thing.
Thing 2 is great.
It's such a great wedge bot, isn't it? And also
it looks. I mean, all the Wild Thing machines look fantastic except Series 6.
Yeah.
But the way the design, the colors, the way it darts around the arena, the way it just doesn't stop. It keeps going and going and going and going and going. It's great. It's a great
I personally prefer the Series 4 version because the Series 5 version's discs slightly made it a bit uncontrollable at times. The way it kind of gyroed a little bit. Only slightly. It didn't make it too uncontrollable, but it does occasionally.
Well, I like the Series 5 version the most because I think it just looks the best, but that's just me.
Yeah. Also, I'll do a slight preview of Semi-Final 2 as well, mainly because you're not going to be there for any of them, so I thought I might as well. Because also it's kind of like a summary of every heat up until this point. I'm not going to do Semi-Final 2 as well at the same time, but obviously you have Blade.
Yep.
Blade. Blade's a thing.
Yep.
Another thing, Gravedigger, just a Cassius, but a coffin.
Gravedigger should have beaten Stegosaurus. I'm just going to say that.
I agree. So I think Anderson disagrees with me.
He does. He's wrong.
And unfortunately, is he in that? Oh, he is. Yeah, he's in that one. So
I can't wait to hear about that.
I can't wait. I completely disagree with Anderson with that one. The destruction that is hitting the disc, just didn't get as much destruction in the semi-final. Admittedly, didn't really destroy anything.
No,
really
but you look at the two robots it was against. I mean, 101 was fairly solid, and Evil Weaver was a bit too low.
Maybe. I mean, they did do some damage to Evil, but nothing really. Also, they did slice Stegosaurus a little bit, but not enough to kind of call it utter destruction.
Yeah.
Scutter's Revenge. I like Scutter's Revenge.
I mean, by this point, it was sort of half dead already, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they claimed it was a small problem, but it was clearly quite a big problem.
It was a lot bigger than that.
Yeah. Stegosaurus, just one of the best, the first really good ram bot of the series.
And there's only two-wheel drive as well.
Only two-wheel drive. It's surprising, isn't it? I think that also made it less controllable as a result, but because it did seem to turn awkwardly, but it was
still did well.
Oh yeah, I mean fourth place is.
It would have been awesome as a wedge, I think, but
Yeah, I mean again, fourth place is nothing to sniff at.
Nope.
As Philippa Forrest likes to call it, Evil Weevil. I don't know why she calls it like that, but that's the way she likes to call it. And
I like Evil Weevil.
It's just Panic Attack, but not as good. That's what Evil Weevil is.
Well, again, I have a fond memories of Evil Weevil.
Fair enough. I mean, it was your first heat after all, I guess. So.
Yep.
There is that.
Yep.
101, one of the most solid robots ever made in Series 3.
Refuses to die as well.
It really does. I mean, it took until Series 5 for them to get KO'd by, well, not even like properly KO'd, but like at least immobilized to a degree by Fluffy. But that was
as well as it only ever had one fight where it actually got immobilized.
What was that? That was a tag team, wasn't it? I believe.
Yeah, and that was only on one side as well. So it was 101 was obviously brilliantly engineered machine, Mike Franklin. Top guy.
Yeah, and of course it is Beast of Bodmin, aka I like to call it Roblox Fursona. He is finally.
Beast of Bodmin's final appearance. This team's final appearance ever.
Is true. Also, again, as I mentioned before, they're one of the few teams that have never failed to make a semi-final. So, along with Firestorm, Carbide, technically Apollo. Yep. There's a few more. Aftershock. Yeah, there's probably a few more missing, but they're Dominator 2. They're also Wheelie Big Cheese. No, the Big Cheese didn't make it, did they? No, I forgot.
No,
actually, Wheelie Big Cheese, technically, but not the big.
Hypnodisc.
Hypnodisc, yeah, that's also another one. But yeah, it's one of those. It's just one of those kind of reliable robots. It just got a bit. It was clear by Series 3 they weren't gonna do as well, but actually, at least they won against Hypnodisc. That was something. So their arm would not have survived against Hypnodisc.
I was going to say there would have been bits of Bodmin everywhere, wouldn't there? So
it would have been like Splinter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, but that's semi-final 1 and 2. That's all the robots with. That's what 16 heats have been building up to. Unfortunately, some better than others, some worse than others. But at the end of the day, that's the majority of Series 3. Obviously, I've got the semi-finals. The grand finals are going to be pushed into the same heat as semi-final 2 as I did last time. There's only 3 battles to talk about, and also that's when Anderson will be deciding the awards, which I haven't mentioned at all. But there will be. We'll be doing those, and also spoilers. There are going to be there are some new awards as well as some old awards. So,
of course,
obviously, there's the international special, which is the international league, and the first world championship. So that'll be fun.
Yep.
I mean, actually, I like the world championship, but I do not like the international league at all. I hate the international league.
No one does.
It's why they didn't do it again.
Yep.
I mean, they have at least a few more world championships, but nothing in the international league because it was basically. I like to describe.
But that was the genesis of the current series.
It was in a way. I mean, I like to give it the moniker that Mr. Psycho 2 gave it. Let's give Razor an award episode.
True.
That's all it was. It was just give Razor some robots to beat up. It wasn't like there wasn't any legitimate threat in that entire heat for them. So.
I mean, Dietor was threatening, right?
Yeah, I mean, Dietor was their biggest threat. That's saying something. I mean, I like Dietor, but honestly, against Razor, they had no chance. So. But so that was some fun heats ago, and obviously there'll be more of a delay. I'm going to take a break from Series 3, between Series 3 and 4, obviously because of the exams and stuff. I'll try and get these heats done in the next week. I should be able to do that, maybe. If not,
no worries.
If not, the World Championship International League might take lesser priority because they're not as important episodes. But I'll try and get the least semi-finals out of the way. But so this was a heat apparently.
It was.
It forgot to have any fun, but it was also heat.
It was.
So, yeah, I'm Jimjamatic, signing off.
This has been Sam at 64, and I will see you for Series 4.
Oh, yes. Bye.